What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 38 of the Stand Up Guys podcast. I'm your host, the incomparable Zach Jones, joined as always by the Steve Carey to my Drew Carey, Lester Jones.
That was pretty good.
The Jim Carey. No, it's Drew Carey. Wait, which one were you?
You're the one that hooks up with Mimi, that's all I know.
Nice.
And as always, we got the ninth wonder, Chocolate Thunder, living in sin and pushing that shit in. The pussy juice sipping, just the tipping, passing out dick like bullets from John Wick. The phenomenal A.J. Singh.
All right, that was new, right?
That one was new.
Okay. Because I saw John Wick intro. I was like, where's that going?
All right, guys. Any good stories from the week?
Just want to give props to my Houston Cougars. They got all the way to the Final Four and lost. But they lost to the champions, so really good run. I had a fun time.
All right.
Bragging about being second best.
Yeah, that could be worse.
What about you?
I don't know, man. Homeless people. Fresh from the dentist today. Face feels like I had a stroke or something.
What's this about homeless people?
Yeah, any good homeless stories?
I don't know. Just random crap. Car break in. And there was a woman outside our building the other day. She was just standing there staring like straight at a window for like 10, 15 minutes. I was like, I'm going to have to deal with this crazy shit.
Yeah, we celebrated my mom's birthday yesterday, and we went to a nice restaurant downtown.
Okay, nice.
Which was really hard to get to because, I mean, driving downtown when it's busy during traffic hours, like, kind of hard.
There was that last time I was down there was a lot of construction. I kept hitting construction.
I mean, for us, it was parking, just, you know.
Yeah, parking always
We
sucks.
took two separate cars because of all of us, and, you know, we had to park one car, then the first one, then the other one was illegally parked, so I had to go find that one and then park that one again.
So what was the restaurant?
It was called Choice of India. Yeah, I mean, the name's not very catchy, but it was surprisingly good, you know. We liked the food, but it was kind of pricey.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, I don't know how old it is, but it had good reviews, really good reviews, so we liked it. The kids enjoyed it, too.
Hey, going back to that John Wick intro I wrote, how do you guys feel about the phrase pushing that shit in as a synonym for anal sex?
I thought maybe we were talking about that guy who got shit in his mouth and was trying to
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, too.
push it
pushing
back
that
in the
shit
butthole.
Oh, no, I was not talking about that. How would you guys feel, like, let's say you had a girlfriend who was like a real, like, you know, effervescent, like, bubbly personality, like, really sweet, but then when she gets a case of the horn, she uses really cringy, dirty talk, like, come here, big boy, and push my shit.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
I could ignore the,
Tongue punch my fart box.
yeah.
I'm sure there's something that'd be pretty gross. But
That might be like a good character to write. Like someone who's almost like Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls, like personality wise, but talks like
I'm not really,
they're doing that live action now, so fingers crossed.
Isn't that like the weirdest thing?
It is weird.
Yeah, that is
The
weird.
whole premise is weird.
Yeah. It makes sense as a cartoon.
What's the premise of the show? Like they were like superpowered little girls, but now like they're all grown up.
I guess because the actresses look like teenagers, so like 18 or something. 16, 18.
God.
Yeah, it's
I didn't
weird.
even know they're making a live action.
Yeah, who knows how that got greenlit?
Who's making it?
I don't know. I just saw like a screenshot.
I mean, I think they're owned by Cartoon Network, so probably like Warner Brothers or. But who knows?
I mean,
Television
Disney's
can be weird.
making a lot of money on their live action cartoons, so probably someone was just like, "Oh, there's some money in this."
I'd give it a shot. I'd be interested.
Can we audition to be the Rough and Ready Boys?
Rough and Ready? Boy, I don't know them.
There's like an episode where like 3 boys are made that are like the opposite of them, and they're like little shitheads.
Yeah.
We might be a little old.
You actually could be like
We could be those 3 guys in prison who dress up like the Powerpuff Girls. It's gonna take every resource we got to get out of this place.
I feel like you could be like the leader of the Gangrene gang. And he could be like Fuzzy Lumpkins.
Fuzzy lump. Get off my property.
What have you guys been watching this week?
Maybe I don't remember. I've been watching a lot of YouTube.
I watched a little Curb Your Enthusiasm. They added another season I hadn't seen, so
I've still been watching Falcon and Winter Soldier, keeping up with that. And
you sound enthusiastic about it.
well, I mean, because there was a storyline in the show that they didn't get to like do. So basically, there was this whole coronavirus storyline in the show. It wasn't. I don't know if it was called Corona. It's called something else probably. But it was a similar storyline to what's going on with the coronavirus now, like vaccines, getting them to people, and this and that. And they had to cut it all out because of the actual virus. So you can see that there's been changes to the show, and the main plot line has been changed. Some things just, they don't make sense completely. So they did release a trailer for the next episode, and it looks good. So I'm still excited about the show.
I decided to break down and watch WrestleMania this year, so I subscribed to the Cock, as the kids call it, the Peacock Network.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's not some subscription service to gay escorts. More or less the same thing.
I mean, WrestleMania, it was at least less offensive than last year's, and they had a actual crowd, so it was less weird than having like the pumped in crowd noise like we were talking about before. But I actually started because it's on there. I started rewatching Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah.
And man, what a great show! Really, it really. I noticed on this show, like I don't know if it's completely in the writing or just like the acting, but I noticed a lot of like just little, dialogue back and forth, especially between like Ray and Deborah, where like he'll make like a stupid joke and she'll just kind of like smile and shake her head, and I don't know. There seems to like be like a realistic quality to the dialogue that I enjoy. Like it's like.
She really hates him.
Like there is like parts of it that are like it seems real, like the real couples have those like things between them, so I'm enjoying that. And I did also watch the first episode of Columbo, because like Columbo is one of those shows that like our parents would watch like when we were young, but I never really paid attention to it.
And now that you're of a certain age.
Exactly. And I hear a lot of people be like, say like Columbo is really good. So I watched the first episode and it actually was really good. And I was telling you this, I was so shocked. Like you get to the end of the first episode and it was directed by Steven Spielberg. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. That must have been like one of the like really early things he directed.
You're talking about Columbo from like forever ago?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Columbo rebooted.
Yeah, like early 70s, I think, is when Columbo premiered. So.
I shouldn't say anything. That probably will happen at some point.
What?
Yeah, they will reboot it.
Columbo will be reborn.
It's got to be. I actually heard that the guy that plays Hulk, Mark Ruffalo, like I think he's like expressed interest in playing Columbo.
Oh.
What the fuck?
Well,
I
you
mean,
don't like him?
He is like an iconic television character.
Why would you be like, I want to be Columbo?
I mean, he's an iconic character.
Oh, I don't know, man. You're playing the Hulk. You're getting big roles. Like, I want to be Columbo.
Oh.
I guess you got money. Go be what you want to be, Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
I think you're really shitting on Columbo.
I meant to shit on Mark Ruffalo.
All right, guys, should we get this stupid show on the road? AJ, as tradition dictates, we'll start with you.
All right. Elon Musk has the tech to build real Jurassic Park, Neuralink co-founder claims. The co-founder of Elon Musk's firm, Neuralink, claims the firm has the technology to build a real-life Jurassic Park. Max Hodak, who co-founded the company in July 2016, took to Twitter to make the bold claim on Saturday, April 3rd. He wrote, "We could probably build Jurassic Park if we wanted to." The biomedical engineer didn't elaborate on how his technology company might be able to create the modern day dinosaurs, which would be lookalikes to their prehistoric counterparts, but not genetically identical. Hodak said they wouldn't be genetically authentic dinosaurs, but shrugging emoji. Maybe 15 years of breeding, engineering, plus engineering to get super exotic novel species. He also praised the idea, claiming it will increase biodiversity. However great the idea may seem, in the 1993 movie Jurassic Park, based on a best-selling book published by Michael Crichton in 1990, the scientific plan goes massively wrong. Paleontologists touring the island of genetically resurrected dinosaurs and hunted by the beasts as they break free. In the movies, so basically just talks about the movies. But yeah, I mean, we recently saw that they had a monkey playing video games. That's a big difference from recreating dinosaurs. But
yeah, I don't know. It sounds a little.
Yeah, he doesn't explain how he could do it.
I mean, in the movie, they get dinosaur DNA because it's like preserved in amber.
Yeah.
Well, there's one paleontologist, Dr. Grant's based on him. I'm forgetting his name, Jack Horner, and basically he thought you could probably take chickens and like reverse engineer them into something like a dinosaur, like you could breed them, because a lot of the genetic information's there. You just gotta start doing selective breeding. So I don't know.
It would be cool if they could bring back extinct species.
But I mean, anytime you introduce like a new species to an environment, there's always some risk of it taking over.
Sure.
You got the, what was it, Pablo Escobar's hippos in South America taking over.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And there's like invasive fish, invasive insects.
And these wasps that are coming here and killing the bees, or that could kill the bees, I guess.
Well, isn't there's some giant one they've been talking about?
Yeah, murder hornets or something.
Murder hornets, yeah. I think it's a little more fluff than.
Yeah. But they do attack bees.
Yeah, but they're gigantic.
I mean, when you hear a name like murder hornet,
you're gonna get a little nervous. Yeah.
But we had the what was it? The killer
bee.
Killer bees when we were in like the 90s.
I mean, we didn't have them where we lived, but we heard about them, and it was like a big in the news.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to go to Africa. They have killer bees.
And it turns out they're just bees that bite you, like sting you.
They're very
harder.
aggressive. Like they group attack you.
Oh, really?
And they'll chase you for like a quarter mile or something. But yeah, I mean,
that was like that movie My Girl. How Macaulay Culkin character.
You start crying. He died. Your mood ring turns black.
I had a crush on that girl in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
She grew up to be hot.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. She played on Veep.
Yeah.
Veep.
I like her.
No.
That was a great show, Veep. Yeah. They couldn't keep making it because things were realistically in real life too wacky for that show to keep going.
It's like we can't one up this.
Yeah.
Man, there's going to be, I don't know when, but eventually there's going to be a glut of like movies and TV shows made about the Trump era.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
100% it's going to happen.
I mean, they've already made 2 shows based on him. They had that...
Yeah, there was definitely one movie already.
I heard one about like a Johnny Depp movie. I never saw a trailer for it or anything.
Yeah, it was on Netflix. It looked like a 1980s type movie. It was made to look like retro and stuff. And it was like some sort of like get rich quick scheme type movie. I'm not sure what it was. I forgot now, but it's a parody on Trump.
All right, should we move along to Manifesto round 1?
This would be a good one if you could throw up some pictures on it, but I just happened on this story the other day. There's a guy in Spain, and I'm probably going to murder his name, Justo Gallego Martinez.
Nailed it.
Pretty close, right? Also known as Don Justo. But he's 95 years old, and for the past 50 years, he's been building a cathedral pretty much by himself. Like, he has some, like, occasionally he'll get some help or something here and there from his kids or something. But pretty much he built this entire fucking thing by his hand. He's 95. He's still out there, like, freaking laying bricks and shit. It's insane. You got to look at the pictures of it. But
when did he start?
he said he's been working on it for like 50 years, and he's 95 now. So it must have been about 45.
Ooh.
So,
A cathedral? Like,
yeah, it's got, let's see, I got a few pictures from the outside. There's some better ones from the inside, but yeah, pretty much that he built.
that's legit. That's like a pretty large size.
Yeah, it's insane. And this doesn't really do it justice, because you see some of the shots from the inside, you really get an idea of the scale of it.
Wow.
It's insane.
Was he like originally a carpenter or something?
He said he wasn't like an architect or anything. He said he considers himself to be a laborer, and he's just been working on it.
I mean, that's interesting, because like I wouldn't know how to build certain angles and stuff. You know, like.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, that's all part of the Masonic trade, I guess. But
like where to put the pressure, or like.
Just the insane like accomplishment of that. Can you imagine just working on something for 50 years?
Yeah, that's incredible.
95, you're still out there just working.
I mean, but it's kind of sad, because if he doesn't finish it, will somebody else? Or
he said he's not going to finish it. He said there's still too much to do, and he's just like, I think basically he's leaving it to God's hands when he dies. So
oh damn.
Hopefully the city doesn't tear down or something.
Yeah, I'll just
watch bulldozers.
Watch them come in with inspectors and be like, "This is all trash. We got to start all over."
He's finally gone. Break out the bulldozers.
You didn't file permit 32A.
Just shoddy workmanship everywhere. They're like, day one, he should have stopped.
All right, so for my first story here, we were talking about bees a minute ago, so I got a bee story for you. New Mexico man finds 15,000 bees in his car. You're driving your car when suddenly you notice movement out of the side of your ear, and then you hear a buzzing. A bee has gotten into your car. For most people, that would be bad enough, but what if it was thousands upon thousands of bees? This nightmare scenario befell a New Mexico man when he returned his vehicle after a brief shopping trip. Inside, he found a gigantic swarm of 15,000 bees. How the bees got into the car is a mystery. But what's even more mysterious is how the man didn't notice them until he started driving. The man had made a short 10-minute at an Albertsons in Las Cruces, New Mexico. In the hot weather, he left the window of his Buick open as he headed to the store. Once he had what he needed, the man came back to his car. He loaded his groceries in the trunk, got into the driver's seat, and started to drive off. Then, in what will probably be one of the biggest WTF moments of his life, he noticed them, a swarm of thousands of bees in his back seat. The man quickly got out of the Buick, as any reasonable person would do. He was then left with a dilemma. What was he going to do about the bees? He called 911 because he didn't know what to do, said Jesse Johnson, a firefighter and paramedic with the Las Cruces Fire Department. Johnson, whose hobby is beekeeping, said he had just finished a family barbecue when he got the call from the LCFD. Aware of his hobby, the department asked if the off-duty firefighter could go and take a look at the car. Concerned for the well-being of the insects, Johnson was ready for action. "I'll do anything to keep people from killing the bees," the enthusiastic beekeeper said. He quickly packed up his bee gear and headed over. After assessing the situation, Johnson knew just what to do. He donned a beekeeper's helmet and protective jacket. Then he pulled out an empty hive box that he had pre-treated with lemongrass oil. "It really mimics the scent of the queen," he explained. Johnson approached the vehicle with the box and spent the next half hour loading the bees into it. He said that he could have probably done it in 10 minutes, but he wanted to make sure he wouldn't harm the insects. Finally, all the 15,000 bees were safely stored in the box. Johnson then relocated them to his property to keep company to his existing 4 hives. So yeah, that would scare the shit out of you, wouldn't it?
The only thing, like you'd almost have to notice.
I mean, it said it was a hot day, but the only thing I can figure is that maybe when he first made the drive, it was cold enough that they were still docile and not really making noise.
Just sitting down.
And then they get warmed up and they started buzzing. But yeah, that's crazy. 15,000, and like how would that many get in there? it doesn't seem like they could just get in there overnight, but it doesn't say like this was a car that he had parked forever and then.
Well, sometimes they'll like, for whatever reason, they'll just pick up and move. And so maybe they just moved as a hive and they all ended up in there.
God, that's crazy.
I mean, he got them out in half an hour. That's pretty fast too, though.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy was a specialist. Man, when I was a teenager, one of the neighbors gave my dad like a, what was it, 41 Chevy? It was an old truck, but he had to go pull it out of the weeds and shit. So he pulled it out with the car, and like I have to steer it, and so I'm in it, and then like the same thing, bees started coming out of the seat.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like freaking out, just pulling down the road with these bees. But yeah, it worked out okay.
Man, I was
How'd you get the
scrolling.
bees out?
I didn't. Basically, we just got back, and then there was like, it wasn't like 15,000,
Oh,
but
okay.
it doesn't take too many. It kind of freaks you out.
Yeah. Man, I was like scrolling through Twitter a couple weeks ago, and there was this video. I didn't turn the sound on, but basically, these people found a hive like in their house or something, or maybe in an attic or something. I think it was, and just same thing, like a shit ton of them,
Yeah.
And same thing, like they didn't want to kill them, so they brought this lady that deals with them, but she didn't have a bee suit on, and you just see her like sifting through these bees. Her hands covered in bees, not scared at all that they'll sting. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, how do you get that way?
I saw a video just like that too, where
Crazy.
this guy in front of their house, they had like thousands of bees, and this guy showed up, and over the course of like 2 hours, got all the bees out, and he was just wearing like a t-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, like we had like the same neighbors that gave Dad that truck is they kept a box, and they said Granny would go out there without anything and just go get the honeycomb or whatever and do whatever, and she never got stung. And then Lyle, he'd wear the bee suit out there and he'd get stung a couple times. So there's got to be a knack to it. I don't
It's
know.
not a very good bee suit if you can still get stung.
Yeah, apparently you still get stung in them. So
What's the worst place you've ever gotten stung?
I was wearing flip flops one day, and this fucker flew right under my big toe and stung me right in the crack, and then my big toe got all swelled up. That one sucked balls. There was one time when I stepped in a nest as a kid, and I think I got stung like 30 times or something. And thankfully, I don't remember very much of that, other than like driving down out of the mountains like a bat out of hell with like mom trying to put ice on me and shit.
Man, I remember like one time when I was probably 16 or 17, like me, Dad, and the neighbor were just like standing outside like in a circle, just, talking. And out of nowhere, this bee just comes, stings me right in the neck. I'm like, what the fuck?
He's coming in ass first. Bow.
Yeah, exactly. It was like he was gunning for me or something. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was mowing the lawn. Every time I mowed the lawn, the bees would get all stirred up, and on a couple of occasions I got stung by bees. But I mean, it's not as bad as they make it seem.
Yeah, you
like
just go,
yeah.
and then like a few minutes later, you're like, okay, it's fading.
Yeah, I mean, it does like have that lasting kind of stinging pain that you feel, but it's not that bad.
Man, I remember one time we were at a family reunion at this lake, and we got this relative that I didn't know before it happened, but he is allergic to bees. And like apparently he didn't have an EpiPen on him. And like everyone started making a commotion, and they're like, getting him into a vehicle to drive off, and like he was already like throwing up and shit. He got stung.
God,
it was that Fritz's son,
Oh, okay.
him. And apparently like they sped to first, like, because there was like a gas station down the road, and I think it was like Benadryl or something, just to get like the initial like
Try to take the
swelling down or whatever. But yeah, it was scary. Like you notice like how bad it, like if I had it like him, like I don't think I would go anywhere without that fucking EpiPen.
Yeah, it's not worth dying.
Yeah. All right, AJ, we'll send it back to you.
All right. This one I thought was kind of interesting. The U.S. military paid scientists to build physics-bending weapon for Mars for wars with UFOs. The U.S. Department of Defense has poured hundreds of thousands of dollars into the development of a space-time modification weapon that will ensure battlefield supremacy by bending the laws of physics. While the concept might seem like something dreamed up by tinfoil-hatted conspiracy theorists, the U.S. military has a long history of dabbling in research that sounds like science fiction. The radar-invisible F-117A Nighthawk and its flying wing cousin, the B-2 Spirit, still look like something from a Star Wars film, despite designs being around 40 years old. This new initiative is based on the work of controversial scientist Dr. Salvatore Pais. Pais claims that artificially generated high-energy electromagnetic fields can manipulate the quantum vacuum that underlies the entire universe. If Pais is correct, a craft surrounded by an electromagnetic force field of this kind could move through air or water with virtually no resistance. This would allow incredible acceleration and produce a new kind of craft that, according to the enigmatic Dr. Pais, would be able to engineer the fabric of our reality at the most fundamental level, but not everyone agrees with him. Science writer Brett Tingley argues that the so-called Pais effect has no scientific basis in reality, and added the patents related to it were filled with pseudo-scientific jargon, but it's pseudo-scientific jargon that has convinced at least some U.S. defense chiefs. Pais has been handed over $500,000 to research the bizarre concept. The Defense Department of emails revealed that there was at least one experimental demonstration of the technology. UFO hunters will note that the schematics Pais drew up for his experimental craft look suspiciously like black triangles that are sometimes spotted gliding silently over the southwestern United States. The U.S. National Institute for Discovery Science cataloged sightings of so-called black triangle UFOs dating back to the 1990s and concluded that the behavior of the mysterious aerial objects does not appear consistent with the covert deployment of advanced DoD aircraft. In a recent publication, Pais described his craft, which would operate as both an aircraft and a submarine, as being shaped roughly like a pencil, like the point of a pencil. The HUAC, I guess, is conical in configuration and an elliptical cross section, similar in geometry to a hypersonic glide vehicle or dart. The hybrid craft, which would encase its crew in a Faraday cage to shield them from the intense electromagnetic forces, would operate as a submersible craft capable of extreme underwater speeds, as well as supersonic or potentially hypersonic stealth aircraft. Pais has filed several patents with titles such as craft using an inertial mass reduction device, or piezoelectric induced high-temperature superconductor, high-frequency gravitational wave generator, and ultra-high-intensity electromagnetic field generator. So these are all kind of like the scientific jargon that he's using, or pseudo-scientific jargon. He claims that all are based on discoveries that will overturn the laws of physics as we currently understand them. At least one of his patents was rejected by the U.S. Patent Office in 2018 because it did not seem to be scientifically possible, but later resubmitted with further documentation that appeared to prove Pais's wild claims. According to The Drive, the U.S. military is investing in these technologies because of concerns that China has already developed ultra-advanced aircraft of that type that reportedly buzzed the USS Nimitz in 2004. Brett Tingley and Tyler Rogoway wrote, the chief technical officer of the Naval Aviation Enterprise, personally wrote a letter addressed to the Examiner claiming that the U.S. needs the patent as the Chinese are already investing significantly in these aerospace technologies. The claims made by Pais seem wild and implausible, but in a world where killer robots, pilotless aircraft, and laser weapons are becoming commonplace, perhaps his reality-busting flying subs will one day seem as ordinary as a stealth bomber.
I mean, here's my thing: is like this kind of like possible tech. You know, it's interesting, but my thought has always been that if we're visited by an alien race, number one, they've been around a long time. if they've invented the technology to reach us, and probably aren't looking to do us harm, most likely. And number two, if they have the technology to reach us, they probably have the technology to blow us the fuck up.
Yeah.
They could probably like straight up Death Star us if they wanted to.
Yeah.
So like, it's definitely interesting, but yeah, I don't believe I just don't believe like if an alien race reaches us, like the first thing they're going to try to do is annihilate us. I just don't buy it.
I mean, I'm not sure if China really, if they have this kind of technology, then that is, I mean, I'm impressed. First off, that's amazing that they have this kind of technology, and they've had it since 2004. But I don't know. It could just be the military saying that we've seen something, and we just want to explore it. Like it might be just a story that's made up. Like, well, we want to look into this technology.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing sounds like complete bullshit. But
Yeah.
I mean, kudos to that guy for getting the government to give him $500,000.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot in there that just sounded like bullshit. So
Yeah, like his pseudoscience names for everything.
like nothing in our science is coming anywhere close to any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like that, Bob Lazar guy that, talked about like the alien craft they have, under wraps from the government and all that. And it's like, all of his stuff sounds interesting, but it's always coded with he could be so full of shit,
Yeah, I mean, someone needs to produce something, I guess.
Yeah.
Something real.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably a snake oil salesman.
I mean, there are people come up with crazy shit all the time. So,
But I mean, they're in like a position where, we always talk about how like in World War II, they had scientists stare at pictures of Hitler to figure out what he was thinking. Or like some
like
sort
the
of
CIA and
psychics or
stuff
something.
was like, they've done some weird shit.
Yeah, the men who stare at goats. They made a whole movie
Right.
about that.
Oh, trying to use like psychics.
Yeah. So I mean, they've always explored like options that have been pretty out there. So this falls in line with that. I'm surprised they're still doing it in 2020.
They fund a lot of things just kind of to keep their finger in the pie. So, yeah, I mean, I could see that part of it.
Yeah. I could get 500,000 to see if we can masturbate the enemy to death.
They didn't die, but they were docile.
They were confused. We can use that.
Instantly put to sleep. All right, should we liven things up with Manifesto Round 2?
Man, I don't know. I feel like it's slow news week. Bernie Madoff died.
Oh yeah, I did. I see that.
That was just
I thought he was already dead.
No, he's been in prison. Like after his whole scandal and stuff, one of his sons killed himself.
Oh,
That might be who you're thinking of.
no, I'm thinking about the Enron guy.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Ken something. Ken Star. No, not Ken Star.
Not Ken Starr, but yeah, it's been too long that I don't remember the guy's name.
Yeah.
But yeah, 82, died in prison.
I mean,
Going off to that
82,
big
though.
Ponzi scheme in the sky.
look, if he stole all my money and, got away or went to prison, I'd still be pretty pissed off for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
No, none of those like millionaire clients were like, let's funnel a few bucks to a guard and this guy can hang himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they got Jeffrey Epstein. They couldn't get Madoff.
Yeah. Epstein, I don't know. I mean, there's so many conspiracy theories out there
Yeah.
about who killed him. Like,
I mean,
He was on
at that
both-
point in your life, I mean, suicide would definitely be on your mind.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people say it's like he was definitely, murdered. And he very well could have been. I'm not saying that. But to me, it wouldn't surprise me if he did kill himself. But at the very least, some guards were paid to look the other way. Because, like, He was supposedly under surveillance, and then conveniently at that
no one
time
was
he
watching.
wasn't.
But also,
Yeah.
wasn't there like some camera feeds that were off?
I think maybe, yeah. There was.
Then again, I work at a building with a bunch of camera feeds, and they are out all the fucking time.
Really?
Who the fuck knows?
But I mean, you're not working in a prison. In a prison, you should definitely have that up and running.
Yeah, I mean, it probably depends. Some of that stuff is like legacy. It's just old and sitting around.
Well, and so I know people made this joke like when it happened because he was supposedly on suicide watch, and people were like, "Does that just mean they watch him commit suicide? What's suicide watch?"
He did it. Hey, everybody. He did it.
Suicide watch.
I saw it. Bore witness.
Yep. We did everything we could by watching him do it.
But yeah, I mean that whole thing was crazy.
Yeah. So where do you guys land? Like, if you had to believe one way or the other, what are you leaning towards? You think he did them to himself?
I mean, I'll be honest, like I didn't read all the articles about it or watch like the documentaries they did, so I don't know if there's enough proof out there to say that he was murdered. But like I was saying, I definitely think if he did kill himself, people were paid to look the other way. I don't think there was not some sort of weird
Collusion.
Collusion.
Okay.
I mean, part of me kind of figures that his wife or whatever had to know pretty much as he did. I don't know.
Oh, that Ghislaine.
Ghislaine, whatever her name.
Yeah.
Maxwell.
So, yeah, I don't know. I could believe either one.
Yeah, they got her, right? She's been arrested.
Yeah, she's in prison.
Not dead yet.
Yeah.
Probably coming.
I wonder if prison's easier for women who do that stuff than men.
I don't know. I'm sure all prisons differ somewhat.
I mean, I'm guessing guys get raped more.
Yeah, that
Man,
makes
I
more
heard this
sense.
fucked up one where this dude got arrested for raping a woman, but he identified as a woman, so they put him in a woman's prison where he's like raping more people. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
What judge accepted that? You identify as a woman, but you're raping women? I don't know. I mean, like, I guess you could identify as a woman and still be raping women, but if the person's a man genetically, I would be less inclined to go with that.
Yeah, it seems like a bad
Yeah, that's
decision.
kind of political correctness gone too far because you can, clearly see the problem
motivation.
with doing that, and the
You should be
potential.
able to.
You can see the danger you're putting the other women in that prison in,
Yeah.
All right. Well, you talked about going to the dentist today. This is a technology that'll probably be available once we're dead. New drug discovery could make regrowing teeth possible.
I've heard a story like this like years ago, but they were talking about using stem cells.
A single administration of the antibody was able to generate a whole tooth in mice. Losing a tooth in adulthood can be hard since humans can only renew their teeth once in childhood. After replacing the milk teeth with permanent teeth, we lose the tooth renewal capability. And currently, when any part of a tooth dies, it cannot be brought back to life, except with fake teeth. That's not really bringing it back to life. But scientists at Kyoto University and the University of Fukui have come up with a new study that offers some hope. According to the paper published in Science Advances, an antibody for one gene, uterine sensitization associated gene 1, or USAG1, was able to stimulate tooth growth in animal studies. The researchers state that the molecules behind tooth development were already known. The morphogenesis of individual teeth depends on the interactions of several molecules, including BMP, a bone morphogenetic protein, and WNT signaling, explains Katsu Takashi, one of the lead authors of the study and senior lecturer at the Kyoto University Graduate School of Medicine. USAG1 interacts with both BMP and WNT, and the researchers knew that suppressing it would benefit tooth growth. What we did not know was whether it would be enough. The researchers examined the effects of several monoclonal antibodies, which are often used to treat cancers and in vaccine development for USAG1. One of the antibodies was able to disrupt the interaction of USAG1 with BMP only, without any side effects. When the researchers experimented with this antibody, it was seen that BMP signaling is essential for determining the number of teeth in mice. And amazingly, a single administration was able to generate a whole tooth. These findings are promising since ferrets have similar dental patterns to humans. As the next step, the researchers want to test antibodies on animals such as pigs and dogs. Conventional tissue engineering is not suitable for tooth regeneration. Our studies show that cell-free molecular therapy is effective for a wide range of congenital tooth agenesis. I don't know what that word is. Concluded Manabu Sagai, another author of the study. So I can't pretend to know all the kind of scientific jargon in there, but like the prospect of being able to regrow teeth instead of having to get implants and all that kind of shit is like really cool. And like I said, it'll probably be a technology that's available right about the time we're all dead. But it is really cool that they're working on it. I hope they do figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, if we could cut the cost maybe of all these dental procedures and surgeries and stuff, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it costs what it costs, but it'd be a cool technology, yeah. This tooth back here.
Man, I'd like to get some implants, but they're so fucking expensive. Maybe one day. All right, AJ, we'll send it back to you.
All right. This next article proves that people will steal anything. Bunny snatched. Record-holding giant rabbit stolen in UK. Police say that one of the world's biggest bunnies has been stolen from its home in central England. Darius, a continental giant rabbit, disappeared from his enclosure in a backyard in the village of Stolton over the weekend, the West Mercia police force said. They did not elaborate on why they thought it was a theft instead of an escape. The force appealed for any information about or sightings of Darius, who is gray-brown and 129 centimeters, 4 feet, 3 inches. That's a big rabbit, 3 feet, 3 inches long at full stretch. He holds the Guinness World Record citation for the world's longest rabbit. Rabbits of his type are known to weigh about 15 to 20 pounds. Owner Annette Edwards, a large rabbit breeder and model, urged the culprit or culprits to return Darius to his home north of London. She initially offered £1,000 for the bunny back, but then she upped it to £2,000, which is $2,748. I mean, you stole this bunny just so you can have the peace of mind that you have the biggest bunny.
Because you're a dick.
Yeah, because first of all, if you tried to sell it, people would be like, "Oh, I just heard about this." If you're trying to tell me it's the world's biggest bunny, it was just stolen. Right. So yeah, you're not selling it, and I mean, you're not going to, even if you keep it for yourself, like, you can't tell other people that you have the world's biggest bunny, or else they're going to know you stole that bunny. Just Google it.
Maybe somebody was like, this is the biggest, tastiest bunny I've ever eaten.
Maybe they're just going to sell it on the bunny black market.
I stole it, now I don't know how to move it.
Yeah, I mean, how much are you going to get for this bunny from somebody who can't show it
Trying
off?
to pawn it off to bunny breeders. You're going to want this big old bunny.
I mean, how desperate are people getting? Like, we had that story about, the guys that stole Lady Gaga's dogs, and now they're stealing a rabbit.
Not only they stole him, they shot the guy.
Yeah, they shot that guy.
Like, how do you have that kind of information in your head, first off, that those are expensive dogs and those are cheap dogs? Those are in right now, those are not, Like, how do you know these things?
I mean, people will just steal them because they know there's going to be a reward, but to the point of shooting seems pretty crazy. I mean, she offered a shitload of money once the dogs were stolen. So.
Yeah, that's true, too.
I mean, I'm sure there's people that know those breeds of dogs are worth a lot of money, and I wouldn't be surprised if those guys had stolen other dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they said that those breeds of dogs were, like, particularly expensive.
Yeah.
They're like $3,000, $2,000 per dog. So, I mean, hey, you get a month's worth of income getting one
stealing
dog.
a couple dogs. Yeah.
I want a Great Dane Chihuahua mix.
You just get a dog that's mean as shit. Steal this motherfucker. Yeah, you stole a Chihuahua from me. I'd be like, he's all yours, motherfucker. Okay, little technical snafu there. We want to keep on cracking?
Yeah, let's go to your topic next.
So Biden announced we're getting out of Afghanistan by September 11th.
Oh, I heard about that.
Only 20 years. They said it's America's longest war. It's ridiculous.
And the truth is, they make statements like that, and it'll probably be like, well, when we said leaving, we just meant we're reducing our troop count, and we're not really leaving. But it doesn't matter. We got so many endless wars over there. The military-industrial complex is going to make sure that we always have guys in that area.
You keep pumping money in.
I don't even know what we're doing over there. Like, I have so little knowledge of what's happening over there.
I mean, it's always the question is, like, what the fuck are we doing? And, my best guess is, like, there's companies making a shitload of money from the Defense Department that are happy with it. And there's probably some oil shit, resources that they like to manipulate. But also, I think there's also like an underlying fear of like Russia or China moving in if we're not there.
Or Pakistan, yeah.
So I don't know, but it's really hard to really pin it down and say, oh, this is why we're there. Like I've never heard like anyone give me like a really good argument.
Yeah,
and like I've looked online too.
Because like their withdrawal agreements are with like the Taliban, so we're putting the same people back in power.
Right.
I don't know. 20 years of nothing then.
Yeah, accomplished nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing is, the military contractors, they just buy all the politicians and, that's going to keep them in business. They'll find a way. That's,
Yeah, we make weapons that I think are made in like Kentucky that have nothing to do with modern warfare, They're obsolete weapons, but we're still making them because they're part of the economy for like some state,
Yeah, there's so many of those stupid things, and it's a good argument why government shouldn't be involved with things. Although they pretty much have to be involved in defense, but probably not to the extent we have it.
Yeah, I think the budget this year for defense the proposed budget is like over $700 billion.
It's crazy. They're trying to do 2 or 3 more trillion in infrastructure, whatever the fuck that means. So I don't know. It's a mess.
Well, infrastructure, that would at least build roads and stuff.
Well, so I guess like a small part of it is earmarked for roads, but at the end of the day, who fucking knows? It's probably like giving more money to Elon Musk for solar, or who the fuck knows? All these green companies.
Subsidies.
That's a big thing right now. So you subsidize that stuff. I wouldn't be surprised. So.
And that's why even if you're a liberal, stop voting for corporate Democrats and start voting for people that don't take corporate donations.
Yeah. It's too bad Bernie's like 100, because if he could keep running, like I think someday he would actually get the votes. If the DNC didn't like keep trying to.
Yeah, that's a thing that's hard to overcome.
Yeah.
Even though she's like kind of green as a politician, like I think AOC does have enough charisma that she could maybe pull it off.
She seems really intelligent. Like she's able to like counter whatever people say, like whatever arguments the right has against her. She's always able to have some sort of logical and reasonable, counter.
And I think she's really good at using like social media and things like that to get people's attention.
Yeah.
I bet she could get a lot of young voters.
Yeah, she seems like somebody who's not daunted by difficult tasks. Like she doesn't get veered off from those.
Guys, do you think we should do a round of Let's Mingle?
Let's do it.
We've got a kids game called Let's Mingle when we run out of topics. And basically it's internal temperature too high.
I think I said that earlier too.
Oh.
So it's overheating and kicking off?
Why is it getting so hot?
Are we going to have to get a fan?
Maybe that screen is causing a problem. Maybe it needs to be down. I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't think that'd affect the whole thing. I don't know.
Editing's going to be a chore.
I mean, if it's overheating now, it's going to keep overheating. So I don't know. Should we just wrap it up? Say sorry for the difficulties. Put on that little screen. Please stand by.
Okay, I mean we're at 50 minutes, so
let's just wrap it up.
We're not too far off. So sorry guys for this episode having some technical snafus on the video side. On the good news side, the reason we're having these technical difficulties is we're upgrading our camera, trying to get you guys some some 4K quality on the YouTube video. So hopefully, and this is our trial run, so hopefully we could figure out what's causing the grief this week and get that all fixed up so our YouTube presentation is just a little bit slicker for you guys. But anyway, if you guys would give us a like, subscribe, positive reviews, all that good stuff, and follow us on the social medias. Guys, where can the people find you on the Twitter?
I am at a name for this too, and that's the number 2.
At unsolicited SUG.
And you can find me at Zach Jones Live. That's ZachJonesLive. And that is going to do it for all of our poppycocks and shenanigans this week. Please, please, please tune in again next week. Bye.
All right, have a good one, guys.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, bye.